with Soraya.
Anyone just joining us, we're taking a minute to look over the Native Land website before our icebreaker. We'll be starting in just a bit.
Let's go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Gardening 101 series. Welcome to our second workshop. This is Borah and Anca. We are the co-instructors for this series. Super excited to have you all join us. So we are, as a recap of last week, we had an introduction to the workshop series and the research study. And also we talked about potting soil. Does anyone remember what are the 3 components in the potting soil that we talked about? You can shout it out or feel free to drop it in the chat box. Anyone?
I think one of them was vermiculite.
I think another one was compost.
Nice. Coconut ash. Yeah, Cindy shared the coconut ash on the chat box. Great. So we did compost, perlite. Compost adds like a lot of nutrients. And perlite or vermiculite, they're like volcanic rocks that add improve the aeration of the soil because the roots also need to breathe. And then the third one was like coconut coir, which is kind of like from the husk. So that adds a lot, that improves the water retention, or like helps it to hold on to water. So yeah, today we'll be jumping into our planting demo and what to plant when. We have special guest presenters from the student farm. So excited to have them here with us. All right, and then just before we jump into that, did you all get your gardening kits? I know for yesterday, for all the students in Davis, you either picked up or you got gardening kits dropped off at your door. It was super cool to meet some of you. But we just wanted to go over and make sure everyone has their gardening kits. So it's like the hand trowel, which is basically like a hand shovel, 2 pairs of gardening gloves, and then an 18-inch planter box, which is green for you all. We got a 2-gallon grow bag, which is basically like a fabric container bag that you can grow your own plants or flowers, a packet of radish seeds, and then onion sets. Unfortunately, this is just for the Davis students, so got a handful of red and white and yellow onions. And then we got bag of potting soil, which you can see in this photo here, liquids, fertilizer, a spray bottle. Just note that the straw is really long, so you might want to cut it. Not too short because you want to make sure you can touch the bottom of the bottle. And then seedlings, we got cherry tomato, basil, and lettuce, which I don't have right now. You guys can all guess which one's which, but one of them, the shiny one, has a really nice smell. Later, we'll talk about how to take care of the seedlings before we transplant them next week. Any questions? Okay.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For non-local participants, do we get all of that that's in the list as well?
All of that in the mail should be going to you, and it's probably packaged like individually, so it's not in one total shipment.
I should still be expecting some of the items.
Yes, if you haven't gotten these items, then if any of these you haven't received yet, then please let us know. But I'm gonna launch a poll. Feel free to answer the questions and then ask any other questions while we're answering this poll as well.
I got the spray bottle, but it doesn't work.
That's a bummer.
Yeah. And
Sorry,
like
who
it's
is this?
gray.
I can't really see
Oh,
who's the
it's
speaker.
Ruby.
Okay,
I got
that's
this.
interesting. If you have any other, like a bottle with that has, let's see, like cleaning supplies or other things. I've reused a plastic bottle myself. Just you want to make sure to clean it well so it's not like anything that would harm the plants, and then fill it with filtered water. Would that work for you? Do you think you can find one, Ruby, or would you like I could see we have extras that I could drop off.
It's working, kind of. I think
Okay.
maybe something stuck in the tube.
Oh, yeah. Keep trying troubleshooting that and let us know.
Okay.
All right, 18 out of 26 people voted. Let's continue to roll in those votes. Okay, thanks for voting. All right. Okay, now we're gonna jump into our, this is our planting demo information today, so make sure to get that ready. We're gonna do an icebreaker, and if you all, I know we started off with this nativeland.ca website, but if you could take a moment or two to reflect, look through and navigate that website and drop in the chat box. Where do you call your home? And from which territory, native territory, are you zooming in from today? Yeah, so I wanted to start off today's workshop by just orienting ourselves with where we are in the land. And especially today when we are planting, we're going to be connecting with soil, right? I mean, it's potting soil, which has been delivered to us from another state, actually. But here where we are, and actually the student farm where I am at today, it's just such a beautiful space, but wherever we are all connected, right? In this land that we dwell on, that we are stepping or standing on, sitting on. So I like to just take a moment to share this land acknowledgement statement. We want to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we are on which we were gathered for thousands of years. This land has been the home of Putwin people, and today there are 3 federally recognized Putwin tribes: Kachil Dihi Band of the Wintun Indians of the Calusa Indian Community, the Quetzal Dihi Wintun Nation, and Yocha Dihi Wintun Nation. So take a moment, we'll just, there are definitely many resources on the UC Davis website as well to look more into where we are and the history of our land. Any questions with this before we dive into our planting demo? All right. Okay, so today's planting demo is going to be with Anca, who is will be leading us through just what does planting involve? Like, what's all the info on the seed packet? How do I plant these radishes and onions? How am I supposed to take care of them afterwards? So if you were wondering, you're in luck because Anca will be sharing with us now. I'm going to stop screen sharing. And Anca, do you want to take it away?
Okay, thank you. All right. Hi, everyone. I am here with the planting box. Hopefully you have it as well. I'm going to explain what we're going to do. whenever you're want to plant something, it's great to keep in mind what you want to plant, have a design, whether it's in a planting box or if it's in your garden. All right, you need to think about when you want to plant them. I think we have a guide that is included, which you need to check in order to plant whatever you would like to plant at the specific time, right? So they don't get killed off by frost, or maybe it would be too late in the season for you to plant them, and they won't be ready for harvest by the time it gets very cold. So when you're planting in containers, you want to make sure that you have all your tools. I have a plastic bag over here so that I don't make a mess. I have my planting box. I also have a spray bottle. I know if you can see it. Here we go. And of course, I have a planting box. I have a box of seeds. And today we're going to plant radishes. I think everyone should have something like this. And green onions. It's very important to look at the seed packet because it contains very important information. Things like how deep the seeds should be sown, what's the distance between seeds, when is the best time to plant them, what is the variety that you have. In my case, it's a very early variety, which is great. If you need to plant it, for example, in early February or March, but in my case, I can plant it throughout the year. And it also tells you when it's ready to harvest. This will be ready in about 3 or 4 weeks. As far as the green onions are concerned, they look like this. It's important to remember to plant them with the roots down. So if they look like this pointy end should be on top. This is where they're going to sprout. All right. Now, because you are going to transplant lettuce into your planting box, we want to leave a little bit of room to the right so that the leaves can grow outside. And we're going to put our 5 onion bulbs over here, and then we're going to make some holes for the radish seeds. So I'm going to take my onion seeds and just gently push them in the soil. I will show you how it looks like in the end. You want to leave just a tiny bit of the tip outside. And you want to keep them about 1 inch. That's the distance between the bulbs. I'll show you what they look like in a second. All right. Hopefully you can see them. All right. They should be pushed in a little bit more just to be safe. All right. Now, when it comes to radishes, we are going to poke holes in our soil here. I'm going to make about 5 holes with my finger, about 1 inch deep. All right, hopefully you can see that. Then I'm going to take out 5 seeds. Okay, and I'm going to place 1 seed in each hole. Okay, 1 more. Perfect. Then I'm going to close up the holes. Right, so I will cover them. And this is our planting box. Well, we are more or less ready, but we need to moisten the soil with our spray bottle very gently so that the dry soil doesn't get everywhere. like it almost did over here, fortunately. All right, and I also have a watering can that I will use because they do need a little bit more water than that. What you will do is wait until water has come out at the bottom, then remove the bottom, drain out the water, and once that's done, you need to cover your planting box with cling foil because the seeds need humidity in order to sprout. So once this is done, all you need to do is plant it by the window and wait a few days. The onions will probably start sprouting quite fast, followed by the radishes. Your seed package should tell you how long it typically takes. That would be probably between 5 and 6 days. And when the seedlings reach the cling foil, that's when you can remove it. Okay, and you can use your spray bottle to keep the soil moist, right? We would love to see how this comes out for you. So we highly encourage you to post pictures of your planting boxes on Discord. And very soon we will have breakout rooms so you can put this into practice. Thank you, everyone. Borah?
Any questions?
I had a question. Sorry, let me just.
Sure.
So is there a specific way we have to set up like our gardening box, or do we just start dumping soil in it?
Yeah, I already had soil in mine. That's a very good question, actually. But you probably don't have any soil in yours, so we should go over that. So you want to have your planting box on a piece of plastic or a shopping bag or some newspapers because you might spill a little bit over. You want to pour the potting mix that you received all the way up. You're gonna want to leave about an inch from the top because when you pour water and if it's all the way to the top, it's going to spill over, right? So you want to leave a little bit of room from the top. And that should be it. That should be, if there are big chunks of soil, you want to crumble those into tiny bits of soil, right? You don't want to have big boulders, so that your plants can grow easily. That's a very good question. Thank you. Any other questions?
There's some questions in the chat box. When you leave in the window, do they need to obtain a lot of sunlight?
No, until they germinate, they don't really need sunlight. When they reach the cling film, that's when they start needing light. If you have, for example, an east or a west facing window, that would be great in the first week, for example. But from then on, it would be great if you could move them to a south window because both onion and radishes can grow in full light.
And then one other question was, what if we don't have plastic wrap?
Well, that's
Can you say plastic bag also could work?
it ideally would be transparent so you can see if the seedlings have grown so that you can remove the plastic bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you just need to keep the humidity. That's the purpose of the plastic foil.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, there's a suggestion here, the shallow clear takeout lids. Yes, that could work if it just needs to cover the whole surface, right? You don't want to leave big holes because water might evaporate and the seedlings might dry out and yeah, that's not great.
When do we take off the saran wrap?
When the seedlings have grown so much that they reach the saran wrap. So maybe like about an inch. Yeah, when they touch it, it's time to remove it.
How often do we have to water them if like we're gonna cover them?
Yeah, so you don't need to water them once you've covered them. That's the whole point of the cling film. You will start watering them maybe one day after you remove the cling film, depending on how dry the soil is. You can always check the soil with your finger. You can press it and see if it's really dry and about like the top inch. Then you might want to add a little bit of water. You also don't want to have the soil sogging wet because roots need air, right? So you want to have the right balance between humid soil but not soggy.
Right.
So there are some other questions. Yeah, we
I've
don't
been
have
answering them in the chat box.
Sorry, what?
I've been answering them in the chat box.
Okay, perfect then. Well, I guess we're
Um,
going to breakout rooms then, right?
yes. So, oh, Anca, and then could you help with spotlighting, please?
Of course.
Okay, today's special guests come from the UC Davis Student Farm, which is where I'm zooming in from today. We have special guests Esther and Mariah, and I'll let them introduce themselves. But the Student Farm is a super cool space where normally students are invited to get involved and volunteer and intern too. So if you are interested, definitely follow up after. But let's get started with the presentation. Esther?
Hi everyone, my name is Esther and I'm a sophomore majored in landscape architecture and design. I'm a lead student farmer in the student farm and I mainly take charge of the greenhouse work like seedings and transplantings.
Hi everyone, my name is Mariah. Use she, her pronouns. I'm a senior in global disease biology, and I am the program or the partner coordinator for Fresh Focus. So I communicate with our partners where we distribute produce to on a weekly basis.
So for student farm, I worked in the market garden. We're focusing on the crop plantings and sell those vegetables to our CSA members every Monday and Thursday. All the crops in the fields are planted by students. As I introduced, I'm like mainly taking charge of the greenhouse. Like most of the time we seed in the greenhouse, like thinking about why we're seeding in the greenhouse and what is different from seeding outside since we're like also do some direct seeds to the field. So we sit in the greenhouse because the temperature of the greenhouse is warmer, which is suitable environment for those tiny naked seeds to survive. In the for the first pictures, the temperature is in the greenhouse is about like 103 Fahrenheit, which is about 39 Celsius, compared to the outside temperature, which is only about like 29 Celsius, about like 84 Fahrenheit. Like we sit in the greenhouse like because of like the warmer temperatures for those like specific type of seedings. Like seeds need the warmer temperatures to germinate well too. They also need plenty of water and the darkness. At the second picture shows the black cover with like little holes on top that covered the trays with newly seeded plant. This cover provided the appropriate environment for seeds to germinate. The holes on the top of the black cover allow the air and the water to go through. For the seeds, like for the majority of the crops, seeds like need to be germinated in the greenhouse because of they want those type of like environment. But others are like such as like I think radish. Some of the radish were planted in the field, they're not need the environment to germinate in the greenhouse. So like, how do we know like what crops should be seeded inside or outside? And how do we know about in what condition or temperature should each crops need? Like on the third pictures that I showed, the seed pack, like the seed packet just as Anca like introduced earlier, it will tells you all the information that you need for the seedings. Like it tells you how many days for that crops are going to be matured and what the temperature the crop need. Yeah, that's kind of like a progress in our market garden.
So a little bit of an introduction to our Fresh Focus program. So we're one of the programs within the larger student farm, and we specifically work to address food insecurity on campus and expand access to fresh organic produce, while also reducing the food waste at the student farm. So we grow out our own food using the greenhouse to seed everything, and then we also glean produce, which is so the market garden sells produce. They harvest it and they do weekly baskets that folks can purchase as part of community supported agriculture. But not everything is up to quite the standard to sell. And so we go back over and we harvest things that are perfectly good to eat and we donate them to campus. And so currently we're distributing to the pantry, Fruit and Veggie Up, Solano Park, which is housing for students with families, the fridges, which are fridges on campus. You may not know about this. And basically folks can put in what they don't need and then take out what they do need. And then lastly, we're distributing to the Knights Landing Tuesday table. And hopefully we will start distributing to EOP's All People Eats Friday table once again, once campus opens up a little bit more. So we're really happy to be working with Aggies Grow Veggies. And the student who's in the left picture, her name is Gianna. She's a fellow lead student farmer with Fresh Focus. And she's actually the one that planted everything for the veggie starts that you all in Davis picked up. And then the photo on the right is some students picking up back before COVID.
So for the student farm, we're planting the crops like a few months before its season. For example, since the tomato is like a summer crops, which usually we seed in February or March. So we will have like a certain time to wait for them to germinate. Also, like this plant guiding is on the canvas for you too, if you guys want to take a look. And Maria will like also help you guys to get more into this guide about like what to seed and when to seed.
Anca, can you go to the website so it can be a little bigger?
Sure, just a second. Which website?
I'm also back, so I can
Oh,
help.
okay. Well, I'll go back.
I'm sorry, everyone. Okay, we're talking about this, Mariah?
Mhm. So this is a vegetable planting guide, which you can use to plan your own gardens. And so there's a key at the top, which basically indicates preferred times to seed in a greenhouse or protected area, just like you all made with that wrap on the top. And then there's preferred time to transplant, preferred time to direct seed, which is just putting the seed in the ground outside. And so then if you scroll down a little bit, you can see that there's all the months of the year. And then on the x-axis and then on the y-axis, there's the different types of produce. And so you can see where the dots are. Those are the times when you want to seed it. And then you can see the time where there's the produce picture. That's when it's going to be ready. And so you can see that for some crops, there's like a longer time in between seeding and harvest time. And for some, they're shorter. And so this helps you plan out when you need to be planting it if you want to be picking that produce within the actual season of it. So you can see a lot, it's kind of in the across the board. And so say you get inspired, you know, you've just finished this workshop series, then you can refer back to this planting guide, see what month you're in and start seeding it for the appropriate time and then harvest it whenever that's going to be ready. And so it's worth noting that this is for the Sacramento area. I know that folks are kind of all over the place right now. And so there are specific planting guides for different areas, but this will work probably for most of the Central Valley. And I think that's about it for the presentation.
Cool, thank you so much. Any questions from all the students listening in? Just FYI for all the Davis students, y'all got the physical copy yesterday. And then in the back is the vegetable planting guide. And for anyone else, there's also a Canvas link. So the file is on Canvas, and I can share that with you all too. Any questions? All right. Well, I think, and then just also as a heads up, let's see if I can get the link. As a heads up, there's the Canvas file where you can find it. We will be going over this announcement in a bit, but this vegetable planting guide will be super helpful to think about like what to plant when, like what you would like to plant if you were to have your own summer garden. So that's something that's coming up in week 5 of this workshop series, and we'll ask everyone to pair up or work in a small group and think about what is your, like if you were to have your own garden, what would you plant? Right now, considering it is spring, but if you have like at the market garden, when they start thinking 2 or 3 months in advance about what they want to have ready to harvest for the dining commons, for example, like what should we start planting now? And so that's something that we're going to ask y'all to think about for our take-home challenge, and then as well as for our the student projects and presentation for week 5. Any questions with that? Not. Let me share my screen, and we have a bit more. If you have any questions about the student farm, please feel free to contact Esther and Mariah. These are their email addresses. And then if you want to learn more about the student farm, please check out the website. And they also have an Instagram. Here's the website for the student farm. And then, yeah, as I was talking about the announcements, next week we'll be transplanting. So make sure to take care of your lettuce, tomato, and basil seedlings. What are ways that we can take care of them? What do you all think? We've already talked about some of these things, right? How can we?
Yeah, you can water them and keep them
For
in the
sure.
sun.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Yeah. Find a sunny spot. Water them. Try not to like drown them, but like and also I told all the Davis participants, but make sure to poke holes at the bottom of the cups. Set them on a counter, like in a tray, so it doesn't flood your countertop as well, and just make sure, yeah, like they're not gonna want to get flooded, but they're not gonna want to be dry. And then we'll follow up with more information about week 5 student projects, and then take-home challenge for the week. Connect with your mentor, mentees on Discord, or email, and then start thinking, what vegetables would you plant around this time of year in Davis or wherever you are for your own summer garden. And so please make sure to consult this vegetable planting guide, but also we'll post other resources for you to look through that'll be helpful for that time of year in Davis, California. And so definitely consult the vegetable planting guide and other resources that we'll be sending out to start thinking, what would I want to plant? Like, what do I want to grow? Like, of course, I don't want to grow anything that I don't like to eat, right? But what would I like to grow? And then if I want to have, like, let's say watermelons in the summer, then when do I need to start planting them? You know, how will I plant them? And there's seeding versus, like, which we did today, direct seeding, planting the seeds in the soil compared to transplanting. Some plants actually prefer being transplanted, and you will learn more about that next week. Why do we start lettuce and tomato and basil as seeds before giving them to you as seedlings? instead of planting them directly into a container with potting soil.